Today we're gonna talk about how to win your man's love back, how to get your husband back into the family, even though you feel that now he has stopped treating you like a woman and may even have fallen out of love. A huge number of women write to me and explain their problems. My husband stopped treating me like a woman, said he had fallen out of love. My husband doesn't show me any affection, doesn't give me flowers or gifts, and doesn't compliment me. My husband has pulled away, we live as roommates. I see my husband's neglect towards me. I feel empty because my husband has left. He said there were no feelings left after 10 years of marriage. Today we're gonna talk about why this happens in families and how to change it. But first, I'd like to address all of the women who are already aware of their problems and are ready to take action to bring your husband back into the family and restore the relationship with him and even improve it. If you're facing this problem right now that the relationship with your husband is completely ruined, he has left the family, doesn't talk to the children, then I know the way to fix it. Yes, I have a working formula for bringing your husband back into the family. Not just bringing him back, but bringing his love back and harmony into your relationship. Do you want to know this formula? Then join my free online masterclass, Manifest Your Ex Back in 35 Days. The masterclass will be available online in the next few days. To sign up for it, follow the link in the description or go ahead and click here. At the masterclass, you will learn how to restore your relationship with your husband without calling, without imposing, without talking, and start all over again. Even if now you feel that everything is lost forever. We'll make sure that your husband takes the first step towards restoring your relationship. And you will do everything from a distance without talking to your husband. Are you intrigued? I think so be sure to come and find out for yourself. So let's define the main reasons why this happens in a relationship between a man and a woman who once loved each other, once decided to get married, to tie their lives for a lifetime. What happens in their relationship? Why a man stops having feelings for a woman and even decides to leave the family. Because of my insecurity and self-doubt, I lost the man I loved, my student writes, who has already took the course on restoring relationships and realized that the main reason for the breakup with her husband was her deep lack of self-love. Lack of self-love, low self-esteem, and insecurity always results in the mirror principle, which means that the man you are with right now stops respecting and loving you. How does the lack of self-love manifest itself? You feel that your husband's opinion or your relatives and neighbors is more important to you than your own. That is, in fact, you do not respect your own opinion and you put yourself on some inferior level below other people. Also, lack of self-love manifests itself in internal self-criticism. When you may have gained weight after pregnancy, or you don't have enough energy to keep your house the way you want it to be, or you don't like your appearance, you've gained weight, you have wrinkles, or you feel you're not successful in your career, or you stay at home and cannot get a job, and inside your head, you start to criticize yourself. That is, you had a certain bar in your youth, what you should be, and over time you realize that you haven't reached this bar. And that's how self-criticism starts. I'm not good enough. I'm not as successful as I could be. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm losing beauty rather than gaining it with time. I'm getting fat. And so this inner self-criticism starts to accumulate and leads to complete self-loathing. And we know that by the mirror principle, by the principle of mirror reflection, everything that is inside our mind, inside our state, inside our feelings and emotions and thoughts about ourselves, it is reflected back by others. How does this happen? The man who's next to you, not only a man but all people around you, start to completely reflect back your own self-image. If you criticize yourself, you hear criticism in your address from a man. If you constantly say inside yourself that I'm ugly, a man cannot tell you that you're beautiful. He also feels that you're not good enough, not because of his own opinion, but because the universe is designed in the way that Our mind is the primary thing, our sense of self, and it creates the reality around us. Everything you think about yourself, other people will think about you. And this is the main reason for all relationship failures. Whether you're married or even if you're single, this is where it all starts. This is why you desperately need your husband to say words of love, to compliment you. That is, you are so short of self-love. You are so short of this self-confidence that you need your husband to pay you these compliments to show his love for you as he used to do it. But unfortunately, if you don't love yourself on the inside, I'm not talking about external manifestations, then the man won't either, because he's just your mirror. And we often see that a woman, especially when she becomes a mother, she completely forgets about herself. She takes care of everyone but herself. And that's why she is tired. She has constant nervous breakdowns. She doesn't care about her inner state, not to mention the outer one. And that is why the slump of inner self-criticism, dissatisfaction with herself, it keeps getting bigger and bigger. And that is why the woman loses love and respect, her inner value, her self-love. And as a result, she loses love and respect of her man. The second reason why the relationship falls apart. If at the beginning of the relationship the man was an important family member for you, was a real partner, a person who was important for you, you respected him a lot, you were in love with him, you saw only his strengths, that is, you had a kind of crush on him. You thought he was the king of your heart, he was on the pedestal in a good way. I'm not talking about love addiction now, it's a bit different. In a healthy relationship, when your partner is on a pedestal and you respect him, you love him, you care about him, you think about his desires, it's the right thing, it's a good relationship. But sometimes a woman starts to push a man out of her life to some another level. For example, children appear and children come first. Or a woman suddenly puts her mother first. She starts to listen to her rather than her husband and listens to her mother telling her that the husband is not good enough. She takes advice from her mother about her husband. Or something else happens. A woman for some reason pushes her man away from the pedestal and stops respecting and appreciating him. His opinion doesn't matter to her, and she no longer is in love with him. And of course, a normal person can feel it, and a man can bear with it for several years, but after that, if he is a strong, adequate person, he will understand that I'm not needed in this relationship. I'm no longer the man who's admired, loved, respected. I'm not needed here. Everyone is needed here except me. It turns out there is no place for him in your family anymore. He can take the role of a breadwinner, he can take the role of a driver or someone else, but he is no longer the man you love. He has no right to your attention, no right to your affection. You no longer make love to him. You no longer make time to spend it only with him. And so by losing his place in your family, his role as a man, the head of the family, a man is likely to find another woman. Next to him, he retakes his place on the pedestal, where he is loved and respected and valued. This is the second most common reason after the first one. When a woman loses self-love, a man also stops to appreciate and respect her. But both these cases can and should be fixed. And I recommend that you start working on your mindset. Because in the second case, why you stop giving a man his role in the family? Most likely, there are some subconscious beliefs, some programs that were given to you in childhood. That is, most likely in your family, your parents had roughly the same situation, where your dad was somewhere in the background or there was no dad at all. There was no role for a man as the head of the family who's loved and respected, and he loves and respects everyone back. You have to get into it, and you can do it on my course. You can learn to love yourself on my course. There's a strategy, a formula for working it all out for yourself. and you won't have to talk to your husband, which is very good news. Even if he has left already, even he is with another woman, you still have a chance, a real chance to fix your relationship with him. Now, to give you motivation that you can really fix your family life, I will show you a few videos of feedback from my students who have agreed to share with you, my dear viewers, how they worked on themselves, how they have radically changed their relationships. Check this out. I'll tell you my story. My husband and I have been married for 11 years. We have 2 children. And we lived well, but at one point last November, he told me that he had fallen out of love with me, that he was in love with another woman, wanted to move in with her, didn't want to live with me. I was shocked. I couldn't believe what was happening. I started looking for ways to get my husband back. And so it turned out that I was able to get my relationship back thanks to Lisa's course, which simply works wonders. I followed all the tips, practices, imagined that my lover was with me again, that he was telling me that he loved me, that he had broken up with that woman, and that's what happened just recently. About 2 months ago, he told me that he loved me, he didn't need anyone else, and wanted to move in back with me. It was just a miracle. My name is Tanya, and at Lisa's School of Dream Manifestation, I managed to restore my family. My situation was terrible. After 22 years of married life, my husband left me, and I felt completely ruined. I mean, to say that I suffered is to say nothing. I was sobbing, I was in tears, I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to drink, I didn't want to live. But still, there were some small episodes of enlightenment when I wanted to feel some hope. And then I probably turned to the universe. I felt that I needed professional help, but I didn't want to go to therapy or some specialists. I wanted just to take care of myself, but with professionals guiding me by the hand and helping me. After finishing the course, it took me a few months to get my family back on track. And as a result, I started noticing changes every day, sometimes a few every day. What is the result? I have my family now. What I sobbed about that I didn't have it, I now have it. I have my family meals, my family dinners, family gatherings, my family celebrations. I take pleasure in family unity, and I feel like a perfectly happy woman. I took Lisa's course to get my husband back into the family. He had a mistress. We had been married for 12 years. We have 2 wonderful children, and there was nothing I could do. I recognized that I had lack of self-love and self-esteem, and this whole thing lasted for 2 years, and honestly, after 6 months, I saw the first changes. The changes were, he began to come home, to be gentle, to text me, to call me. Of course, we broke up a few times, but he chose to return home. We had a talk, and now we have lived together for a few months. It's all good. Every day I fall asleep in his arms, and he always texts, calls, and gives me gifts. It's so great. I'm crying from happiness because nothing could really bring my husband back. And then you did.